Grinding. Something that has been present since the early days of gaming. Well, not really. But it sounds good when I say it like that, right? We've all experienced grinding in our games, so much so we affectionately or hatefully call it the grind. For those unfamiliar with the concept, grinding refers to spending a large amount of time and effort in a game to achieve some form of progression. There is a whole range of things that players can grind for, which we could talk about, but the main thing we're interested in today is the grind for obtainable in-game currency. We will be talking about games where you can get this in-game currency both with real money and through some form of gameplay, especially when those currencies give you a gameplay advantage over others. So forget about all those games with purchasable cosmetics. This video isn't about them. We will look at how games balance this mix of grinding and purchasing, the effect of allowing players to pay to win, and how communities have fought back to bring this balance back into order. Got all of that? Good. Let's get into it. On November 17th, 2017, Star Wars Battlefront 2 released to mediocre reception. You'll see why in a moment. During Battlefront's pre-release and trial periods, EA presented a game with its characters locked behind a payment of in-game currency called credits. Yes, you could get them through playing the game, but EA has already thought ahead of you on that, limiting the number of credits you could earn to 1,500 credits per day. This means, to get the cheapest character, who costs 20,000 credits, you would have to grind the game for at least 13 days. Not to mention getting a more prized character like Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader, both costing 60,000 credits, would set you back at least 40 days of grinding. Now, there were other ways to get these credits, but they were less ideal. They were gained through the dastardly loot boxes. From these, you could get a small amount of credits. The main difference, however, is that these loot boxes, or loot crates as Battlefront 2 dubs them, can be bought with purchasable currency. If this was just another method to get credits, it would be mostly fine. Just spend a bit of real-world money to get the credits faster. But that's not the only thing these crates give you. These crates give you something called star cards, a neat little feature that gives whatever class you're playing a little boost, which can greatly affect your effectiveness in battle. So, not only did Battlefront 2 cost $90 on launch, it was also locking major player progression behind days of grinding, and then also making it easy to gain gameplay boosting upgrades through something that could be bought with real-world money. It would be like if a gym not only made you pay for entry, but also made you spend time in the gym to gain credits to unlock access to each machine. Then, to top it all off, made you play a slot machine for a chance to win steroids to boost your performance. Sounds like insanity, doesn't it? Now, thankfully, due to a large amount of community backlash, EA, for once, saw the errors of their way, and changed up the game's progression so that each character was unlocked from the start. Even the upgrades that used to be gained from loot boxes can now only be gained through playing the class that you wish to upgrade. The premium purchasable currency and the earnable in-game credits now have become a way to buy skins and cosmetics.
And then there's World of Warcraft, the king of MMOs and the king of grind. From the early days of endless mob farmings and long, painful treks across Azeroth, to today's weekly lockout, talent trees, and reputation ladders, WoW has always demanded time. You grind to level up, you grind to gear up, and you grind because if you don't, you fall behind. It's tradition. But in 2015, everything changed. Blizzard introduced the WoW token. Real money in-game gold out. Suddenly, gold wasn't just something you looted from mobs. It was a shortcut. A Blizzard-approved, real money, fast pass to progression. Now, here's how it works. You spend real-world money to buy a WoW token from Blizzard. You post it on the in-game auction house. Another player buys it with gold. You get the gold. They get 30 days of game time. That's the loop. And because Blizzard sets the real-world money price, but players set the in-gold value, it's basically a legal fluctuating exchange market run entirely inside a video game. And in WoW, gold isn't just convenience. It's power. With enough gold, you can buy raid carries, mythic dungeon runs, crafted gear, best-in-slot consumables, the works. Players with gold don't have to get good. Not mechanically anyways, just economically. And because it's an MMO, it doesn't stop there. You can hire players to farm mats, grind rep, or craft weapons for you. Whole communities exist to sell services for gold. It's not just a gear economy, it's a gig economy. You're not grinding, you're managing. Let's not forget, WoW already costs $15 a month, not dollary-dos, real US dollars. Add tokens on top, and suddenly your real job is funding your in-game one. Now, to be fair, you don't need tokens to succeed. Plenty of players grind the honest way with skill, time, and effort. The grind is tough, but the choice is still yours. Tokens aren't required. They're just incredibly tempting. Meanwhile, in lower income regions, some players turn WoW into actual work. Since tokens have fixed real-world value, farming gold can sometimes earn more than local jobs. Blizzard didn't invent gold farming, but they legitimized it. So, WoW didn't remove the grind, it monetized it. It didn't go full pay to win, but it definitely built a system where paying lets you win faster, easier, and with a lot less gameplay.
On the other hand, we have Clash of Clans, a mobile game where the grind doesn't just involve effort, it involves waiting. The way Clash of Clans works is that you attack or raid other people's villages, steal their resources, and then use them to upgrade the stuff in your own village. Up until recently, if you wanted to attack someone, you would need to wait around 45 minutes to train your army, brew your spells, let your heroes rest, and then after you attack them, you'd get around 500,000 gold elixir and maybe 1 to 3,000 dark elixir. This might seem like a lot, until you realize that even basic upgrades like cannons could cost over 10 million gold. In fact, it costs 2.2 billion gold to max out your base. But this isn't even the worst bit. Every building, every upgrade, every laboratory research project takes hours, often days to complete. Unless, of course, you're willing to pay. Gems, the premium currency, let you skip wait times, buy better equipment for your heroes, buy resources, buy more builders, donate troops to clan members, all in exchange for your real-world money. And it doesn't stop there. The game limits how much you can build at once via the builders. With only 2 available for free, the rest, I hope you like pulling out your wallet. There's 5 builders total, with an optional 6th builder, which you unlock after you almost completely max out your builder base, which is the secondary village that comes with its own grind. And then there's also the 7th builder, which is the goblin builder, but he's so greedy that you have to pay him with gems every time you want him to do an upgrade for you. You get the picture. The builder base feels like a mini version of the main game. Same mechanics, different layout, but with a versus battle system that pits you directly against another player's base at the same time that they attack yours. It was designed to feel faster, but ironically, it introduces more waiting, especially as you reach the highest levels, and upgrades start taking just as long as in the main village. And to unlock that 6th builder, you need to complete a laundry list of tedious tasks, many of which take weeks or months unless you start spending gems. The developers also offer a battle pass, giving you powerful items like runes of gold that instantly fill your gold storage, giving nearly 30 million gold, something that could take dozens of raids to earn manually. Combining all of this, we get the pinnacle of monetization, a game that subtly punishes free-to-play players while rewarding those who spend, turning what could be a fair tactical progression system into a carefully disguised paywall with timers, premium currency, and exclusive advantages stacked against the average player. Although this seems a little shitty, you have to keep in mind that Clash of Clans is a free-to-play game, and that spending money is fully optional. While on the other hand, you have games like Battlefront 2 that try to squeeze money from the player despite costing $90 at launch. Clash of Clans flipped the pay-to-win formula into a sort of pay-to-progress strategy, where the player isn't punished for not paying, as you're only ever attacking players at a similar level to yours, and you have the ability to skip bases that you think are too difficult to defeat. This mostly negates the pay-to-win aspect of the game, and the user only ever feels compelled to pay for the game once they get invested into their base. So if we think about it, it's not all bad, since free-to-play players can compete, and are only really punished for not paying once they reach the highest levels of the game, like competitive play. But for the average Joe, Clash of Clans is a perfect example of a game that encourages players to pay for things without completely punishing them for not doing so.
The balance between rewarding players for playing the game and rewarding them for using their mom's credit card is an essential one that can determine the long-term success of a video game. Whether we like it or not, the average gamer has changed. The norm is no longer 24-hour LAN parties in mom's basement eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew. Games and game culture have evolved to the point where it is no longer a niche hobby or a community. The average gamer is, well, average. As a result, one might say that it is logical to include pay-to-win strategies and paid advancement in video games. This allows the gamers who don't have the time to dedicate to the grind to progress through a game. And it affords the die-hard, degenerate gamers the ability to grind their way to the top without having to spend a cent of their money. Yet, the line between fair grinding and exploitative monetization is far too thin and crossed far too often. Often, a gamer's success and enjoyment with a game has been attached to how much money they are willing to spend. Games like Battlefront 2 showed the video game industry at its worst. Not only is it a paid game, but it heavily rewards paid users. Instead of a weeks-long grind, players can instantly unlock the best characters just with a little money. Yet, Clash of Clans champions a more moderate approach to in-game purchases, an approach that respects the player. Payment is used to speed up and advance gameplay, not give users a substantial unfair advantage. Payment just cuts down on waiting, something a busy gamer might not have the time or patience for. A well-done elo system in the form of trophies allows competition between similar skill levels, regardless of if you've grinded or used your mom's credit card. Even if there are frustrations with pay to win, at the end of the day, it is still a free-to-play game. Moving forward, the free-to-play model, a relatively recent revelation, has a large impact on the game industry and a large impact on how games are monetized. While the free-to-play model has existed since the birth of mobile gaming, it has been popularized in console and PC gaming in the last few years. This is largely thanks to the unprecedented success of Fortnite, a free-to-play game whose success changed the industry forever, albeit that is a topic for another day. Fortnite, unlike many AAA games, offered no paid advancements, meaning no tangible competitive advantage could be gained from spending your parents' money. Instead, money could be spent on anime skins and Wu-Tang backblings. Fortnite proved you could make a wildly successful game without selling power. As the money and popularity chasing machines that gaming corporations are, they quickly took notice of Fortnite's success and subsequently tried to emulate it. Games like CSGO and Call of Duty Warzone, and soon to be Rainbow Six Siege, switched to the free-to-play model without impacting the gameplay experience. Money could be spent on skins, not weapons or power-ups. Yet, as expected, the greedy gaming corporations found a way to even mess this up. Games like Overwatch 2 and Genshin Impact, while free-to-play, lock characters and gameplay behind paywalls and paid battle passes. They've fallen back into the mistakes made by Battlefront 2, favoring making a quick dollar over cultivating a long-term community. Overwatch 2's missteps with monetization can also be attributed to the game's loss of popularity over the last few years. In the end, the line between fair progression and pay to win is razor thin. Rewarding the player for their time and effort can lead to a thriving community, while prioritizing profit can allow even beloved franchise to fall from grace. Supercell at its best, and Epic Games have demonstrated that this balance isn't possible. The future of grinding and monetization relies heavily on these game developers. True balance is achieved when the player's time and money is respected. And the challenge of a game developer isn't just making money. It is monetizing a game without ruining it in the process.
We do not care.